Good evening, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the show, welcome back to the 40k show, your Wednesday weekly dose of 40k nonsense. How are you doing, you wonderful people in chat? Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to do the thing, I'm going to tell you to do all the things that you all have to do all the time. Hit the magical like button for me, hit that subscribe button for me, hit that bell notification icon for me. It all helps us. Thank you so much, wonderful people. The bell notification tells you when we go live. Of course, you guys don't need to know when we go live. You're already here waiting for us. Already here waiting for us. But if you also want another form of notification, of course, you can join us in the Discord server, !Discord, but only if you're a member. Come and join us, members, in the Discord server if you want to come hang out with us. We're trying to target over 100 members a night every night so far. And you lot failed me last night. I know it's because Bron was producing and he's really boring, but you failed me last night because we only got to like 84 or 86. That was it. We were trying to do 100 each time so we could catch up from the week off. So I'm relying on you lot tonight, chat. I am relying on you lot. Okay? Don't let me down. Other ways you can support us, clearly you can send in big colourful postcards as well. If you've got opinions on what we're talking about, tonight, have you plugged in? Are you moving it again or are you staying where it is? Okay, cool. So let's unmute Luce. Luce is here as well, by the way. So what we're going to talk about tonight is how to enjoy 10th edition. I am consciously aware, in fact, over the course of the last 5 or 6 days, I have been consciously aware of kind of how I've been a bit of on a Debbie Downer about 10th edition and 40k. And I'm also consciously aware that the people that are watching the channel are watching the channel because they like 40k and they enjoy 40k. Now, although I'm never going to stop being honest about my opinions, and although I'm never going to be dishonest in the hope that everyone thinks I'm just Mr. Positive, I am aware of the fact that I've been on a bit of a downer, right? So what I'm trying to do lately, as we did with Friday's mission pack discussion, is we're trying to talk about the positives, the things that I'm enjoying right now, the things that are cool, okay? And so we're talking about how to enjoy 10th edition 40k. Now, one of the reasons why I'm talking about how to enjoy 10th edition 40k is because I had a meeting today with the beautiful people at Factorum, okay? Wonderful people at Factorum. And we have a big event coming up that I haven't really shouted about very much, okay? It's linked in the video description. It's also pinned in chat right now if you're watching live, okay? That is our narrative event that's taking place at Element Games on the 19th and 20th of July. Now, ticket sales haven't really happened because I haven't really talked about it, but we wanted to see how it came, or how it was going to evolve and how it was going to change with the release of 10th edition. So if you check out that link, there are tickets for the narrative event at Element, and I would urge anybody and everyone who's thinking about going to it or thinking about dipping their toe into the narrative pool to grab a ticket and come and hang out. Why? Well, 10th edition currently, if we talk about it competitively, and if we talk about it from a balanced perspective, is an absolute dumpster fire. It's a bit of a mess. It's complete nonsense, in fact. There we go. I'm still being honest. I still think it's an absolute mess. However, there is a group of players that typically don't care too much about things like balance and competitive play. And those group of players are the ones that call themselves the narrative players. Now, to be a narrative player, you don't have to necessarily have already read every single heresy book. You don't need to know every single piece of lore or narrative from 40k. You don't even need to know which number each Legion of Space Marines is. You don't need to know any of those things. To be a narrative player, you must simply just want to enjoy the game from a narrative perspective. You want your dice to tell a story on the tabletop. Something that's fun, interesting, different. 19th to 20th of August. You're right, guys. Thank you. Something that's fun, different, interesting, you know, a bit exciting. The dice tell the story. There is a ongoing narrative and an ongoing story throughout that whole process. And that is the narrative events that happened, that happen, I should say, at Factorum. Now, typically they do these narrative events every single month, right? They're very frequent. They're very common. These narrative events are happening frequently in the Priam subsector. If you look at the thumbnail, actually, it says Priam Crusade. Now, because we're running this one at Element Games, and we don't want to impact the guys who are operating currently in the Priam subsector, we've called it something different. But we are running a narrative event at Element Games, and I would urge you to come. Why? Well, because we don't care about balance. We don't care about Eldar being hyper-powerful necessarily. We don't care about Death Guard being the worst in the world, because narrative players are very, very good at self-regulating. And they're very, very good at making narrative choices rather than what is the strongest possible choice that you can put on the tabletop. And the guys at Factorum, I know I've talked about them quite a lot, but the reason why I'm linking this, and I need to be very, very clear as well. For me personally, going to Element on the 19th and 20th, that's right, I'll be there. This is not for profit for me. This is costing me my hotel, my travel, but this is all for Factorum. I don't take any money, I don't take any cut, I don't take any percentage. Complete honesty, this is all for them. So I benefit zero from you going to this event, but I would urge you all to think about grabbing a ticket and coming and hanging out at Element Games, because the narrative events are just some of the best. If you look at the narrative pack, it looks complicated, it looks busy, it is complicated, it is busy, but ultimately you have a giant galactic map and you can impact invasions on planets and you can impact exterminatus and you can fight back and you can defend events. You can do all these kinds of things in the narrative crusade, in the narrative campaign. You can have bodyguard units, you can have upgraded units, you can have heroes doing epic deeds. There's a Imperial General who walks around, as is there normally an Inquisitor, who will definitely slap you on the wrist if you don't do something heroic and Imperial. And if you are in fact found to be a heretic, will put a bounty on your head. The Tyranids are invading one corner, the Necrons are awakening in another, the Eldar are flirting about and trying to survive and find relics. It's absolutely incredible. So come and hang out. Why? Well, because 10th is new, and I think we're going to have some time where it's not going to be anywhere even remotely close to balanced, if I'm honest with you. I think that we're gonna have a bit of a dumpster fire for a while, and I think it's going to be bonkers. And to some extent, I'm kind of here for it being bonkers. I'm kind of okay with it being bonkers. But that means that it kind of fits perfectly in narrative, because narrative is kind of bonkers anyway. So just come and play bonkers 40k. And me and Joe talked about this a little bit yesterday at the end of the game, right? Having fun, enjoying yourself, telling a story, playing over cool narrative-looking tabletops, playing with cool narrative-looking armies is actually kind of why I got into 40k in the first place. It's very, very easy to find yourself stumbling down the path of looking at competitive 40k, looking at GTs, looking at competitive lists, comparing what's strong, looking at what's broken, looking at what's bonkers. It's very easy to stumble down that path. I think we all do it a lot, actually. Even those of us that are even like narrative players, I think a lot of us do this just naturally. We kind of just do it because it's kind of what everyone talks about. It's what's in all the social media groups. It's what's on Facebook. It's what Games Workshop even talk about with MetaWatch. When was the last time they did heavy amounts of narrative-based articles at frequent intervals to do with campaigns? They don't really do it all that much, but they do MetaWatch, and they do talk about all their events. They talk about balance. They talk about Goldilocks Zone. We always find people talking about this bonkers combo or this terrible unit or this super strong thing. Narrative players just don't care about that on the whole. I say that. There are some players, like Mr. James Hobbs, who will turn up under the guise of being a narrative player with the gamiest stuff he can find, just so he can kick everyone dicks in because he can't win a GT. I'm joking, James. But thank you for the 5. Narrative event is great. So much so that last weekend, Death Guard almost won a game. Almost. Thanks so much, man. You're a hero. Leaks, also thank you for the gifted membership. That's 1 of the 100. 99 to go. 203 people in chat. 97 likes. Do it. Press it now. But I think what we can do as a little community, as the Great Hall community, as us, as people, I think one of the things we can possibly do is we can hold our torches up, we can wave our flags really high for the fun of 40k, the narrative side of 40k, the enjoyment, the escapism, the combined, the linked narrative, the continuous play with that sort of thing. I think is the thing that we could really do with flying the flag for, being the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for. Being not the example, the ringleaders, thanks for your help. Just looking at me, like letting me crash and burn over here.
Do you know what? I almost had to get back on my bike and go to the allotment because I thought I left my reading glasses on the compost bin. I was like, he's going to kill me. So I'm like, I've just got to nip out.
we could be those people, right? We could be those... Word. There's a word.
Word up.
Thanks, Luce. Thanks. Thank you so much to Mr. Sven Haley for the gifted 5. What a legend. Try to Trump, and thank you for the gifted 1. We're on 7. I'm going to keep count tonight, people.
You didn't
7.
say it was example.
No, it's not example. There's like a not front runners, not paragon. There's a word. There's a word I'm thinking of, and I can't remember what it is. It will come to me.
Act it out.
It's not Pictionary.
Is it a film? Is it a book?
Ambassadors. Ambassadors is a good word. I don't think that's the one, but ambassadors is the word we're going to go with, J-Touch. Thank you so much. What a hero. Archon, thank you so much. Thoughts on waiting till September for points balance? Do you think they have enough data to adjust now? Probably not. I mean, I don't think they need data for certain things. Pioneers is a great one as well, Soups. You're a hero.
Champions.
This is just now a chat of people throwing words at
Yeah.
me. I think September is too long to wait, if I'm honest, considering we know some things are mental. However, I also think that points updates aren't the way to fix it at the moment, because points updates are kind of balked because everything is just a single points cost. That's it.
Carl. Dickheads.
Dickheads. We can be those dickheads, Carl. Thanks, Carl. You're a hero.
I think I had it then. I think I had it and I lost it.
Pioneers is a good one. I like Pioneers. We could be those beacon holders. We can be those torch holders. That's what we need to be, right? This hobby, when Rogue Trader first came out in 1980, whenever the fuck it was, I don't think it was bought out intended for 1,000 people to go to an event and compete with each other with the most efficient min-max list they possibly can and score try and get 100 points every single game. And I don't care about what my army looks like as long as it's got 3 colours on it, but we're going to go there and we're just going to score as many points as we can. That's not why this game was invented. That's not why Games Workshop came into being. That's not what Warhammer 40k is supposed to be about, in my personal opinion.
Forging, the forgerers. That's a word.
Now I want to be clear. I have no problems with competitive 40k. Like, I don't have an issue with it at all. Genuinely don't have a problem with it. And if that's your thing, if that's your jam, cool, fine. No problems with it whatsoever. But do you not think, chat, this is an interesting question. Do you not think that as a community in general, we've swayed too hard towards focusing on the competitive rather than remembering the DNA of 40k, remembering what 40k is all about, remembering why we love it, right? Do you not think? Like, I genuinely believe our focus has switched. And I think sometimes when I try and pull new people into the game, anybody for that matter, I mean, we did this kind of last year a little bit. We tried to pull Lucy into the game during 9th edition. When I try and pull new people into the game right now, even that process, I feel like some of us have forgotten what the DNA of 40k is, what it's all about, why it was invented, why we love it so much. And that's because of the narrative, the fun, the epic moments, the story. Like, I feel like if you're just going through the motions of teaching people essentially what order to roll dice in, it's kind of a bit boring. Do you not reckon? I think it's a bit boring. And I think that we probably need to work a little bit harder to try. I say we need to probably work a bit harder. What we're going to do on the channel, I spoke about this with the guys a little bit, is we're going to try and work a little bit harder to bring it back to the fun kind of narrative. Now, will we do a narrative every single stream? No. We'll be playing the cards still and having fun, because actually mostly what the channel is about on the whole is Garage Hammer. And Garage Hammer isn't about being hyper competitive, excuse me. Still recovering. Garage Hammer isn't about being hyper competitive. It's about just having fun with your mates, and some of that's narrative and some of that's just having a beer, rolling some dice, enjoying ourselves and trying to kick the shit out of each other, right? And so that's what the channel vibe has been forever, is Garage Hammer. It's about getting together with friends, getting together with mates, enjoying yourself, and rolling some dice. But we're going to now attempt, as we discussed yesterday on the stream, if you watched last night's game, we're going to attempt to once a month, not sure exactly when, but once a month, do a narrative scenario. Because often, the other thing I think we find with a lot of people is they forget, right? That here is a bunch of rules you can use to make a game. But we're not playing chess. So although here is a bunch of, like I was talking on Friday about the mission deck, I do think the mission deck is excellent. But here's a mission deck and you can use this to play. And so what everybody in 10th edition is doing right now is playing the mission deck. That's it. 40k is arguably an RPG. It's large-scale D&D. You don't have to play the mission deck. You can make up any scenario you want. Do whatever you want with the table. Do whatever you want with your armies. Right? You can just have fun, come up with something narrative. We did the Devastation of Baal-ish a while ago, if you remember. Paddy and Joe did that, and it was ish because Paddy had a ton of Primaris. We didn't have the right High Fleet painted, but we did Tyrannid's Blood Angels in a similar kind of scenario. And I thought that was a really fucking cool stream. And then we haven't really done anything about that since. We do chat plays, which is bonkers and mental. So I'm going to make a promise to you people. I'm going to try and bring back, or at least do, at least one single narrative style game a month. Now, if it does well, if it's popular, if you guys enjoy it, if the numbers are good, if the viewership is good, if we're having fun, then what we'll probably try and do is add in another one, and we'll do 2 a month. We'll continue to play the Leviathan mission deck because the Leviathan mission deck is actually a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it. That being said, one of the other reasons why I'm playing the Leviathan mission deck is simply because you have to keep current in the YouTube space if you want to make sure that people are going to keep coming and watching your battle reports. It's a shame. One of the reasons why when the latest chapter approved dropped at the start of the year, we played through all of the missions in order, although we didn't do it back to back, was because they actually did really well as videos. They did really well as on-demand videos because people go, oh, they're playing the latest thing. We want to go and have a look. And as a channel, I think we owe it to our audience to try and cover everything that we can, all the missions, all the different kind of scenarios. We owe it to you people to try and do that, to keep up to date, to keep current. But we're going to bring in some narrative missions because I think it's fun. I just think it's going to be fun. Joe has also got this wild... I mean, he forgets what he ate for dinner yesterday, but he's got this wild narrative brain, and I feel like we just need to unleash Joe and let him go for it with some narrative scenarios. Because he gets excited, he gets giddy. I mean, I will caveat this with he gets to a point where it looks like he's going to cost me tens of thousands of pounds. It's exciting. We could have 25 Titans aside and we could have a table the size of a football pitch. Like, no, Joe, calm down. You can't do that. Excuse me. That's where my throat's still fucked, by the way. That's where he goes. I'm going to take a sip of my mead. That's right. Honey's good for you.
It is.
Fact.
Bee vomit is very good for you.
And mead is honey.
Yeah.
It's good for me.
And it's not even one bee's vomit. It's many bees vomit.
Many bees vomit, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not even the first vomit. It's many bees, many vomit.
Yeah. Well, Master Will, thank you for the 2. A narrative list to this GT is the best I can do. That's fun. There is a GT at the end of July at Factorum as well. If you go to the Factorum homepage, you can find the event ticket for that. I put it in Discord recently as an announcement so that you can also check out their GTs. To be fair, their GTs don't typically tend to be mad metagaming as well. They're just nice chill out places. I'm actually handing head TO duties back over to Factorum so that I can keep playing, or I can start playing in the GTs, because we ran, I don't know, 10 GTs last year or something like that, and I didn't think I played, I might have played in one. I don't think I played in any, actually.
It was a very busy year.
I miss it. Because one of the cool things about going to any kind of event, whether it's narrative or competitive, is I get to play against random people who I might not normally get to play, who aren't Brom and Joe and Paddy, so random people, and I think that's quite fun and quite interesting. I quite like that social side of 40k as well. Basically, what I'm saying is, and I've been guilty of this over the last month. I've been very guilty of this. It's supremely easy to focus on the negative and the state of the game, balance-wise and competitive-wise, and it is fucked. You know, I'm not saying, hey, everything's okay now because I've got this different perspective. I'm not saying that. It is fucked. But it is still my hobby and I still love it. And I still want to play it. I still want to be involved in it. So I need to have a look at, well, maybe I adjust my expectations. Maybe I adjust my approach. Maybe we look at some more narrative style games. Maybe I look at more narrative style events. In fact, Thoron do the narrative style events. I don't know anyone else in the country that does a narrative style event the same way that they do it. And it's super interesting. I urge you to buy Element Games tickets. There's 236 people in chat right now. Put your hand up if you're thinking about going and buying an Elements Games ticket. If you put your hand up, saying you're thinking about buying an Elements Games ticket, I'm going to come there and slap you because you should be using both hands to go and click on a ticket and buy one. Right?
Let's prime the pump. I love narrative content, and few YouTubers do it, and most of them don't do it well. I fully support this idea, and hope it builds enough momentum to occur more than once a month. Hope to see the Black Templars on the table soon. Arta et Mart.
Arta et Mart. Indeed, Adrian, thank you so much for the 100 Canadian, you fucking lunatic. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really want it to do more than one a month. I need to be obviously completely honest with you people, right? YouTube is a game. YouTube is a game of viewers and a game of numbers and a game of things like that. YouTube is a game. And I want to do more than one a month. I'd arguably want to do more than 2 a month, right? However, I need to test the water first. And test the water doesn't mean do one. To be clear, it means do more than one. Do 4, 5, 6 and see how it's going. Right? So testing the water is not a one shot, didn't work, bin it process. So I'll test the water, I'll see how it goes. Actually, part of the testing as well is how much fun the team has. Because if the guys, when they're playing, are having loads of fun, if Luce is sat here and she can hear us cheering and laughing, that means the stream's a good stream. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll make the most amount of money necessarily, but it means it's a good stream. It's entertaining because we're having fun. And I often find that when you're watching anything on TV in general, I mean, obviously if it's like a drama, or if it's a bit different. When you're watching people on TV, if they're having fun, why do so many of us like old school Top Gear when they were doing the challenges? Because the three of them were having loads of fun.
Stupid telly.
They were, weren't they? They were just dicking about, they're having fun. They looked like they were having fun, and so it was enjoyable to watch, and you kind of laugh along with them.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they're having fun. So if on the streams we look like we're enjoying, if the guys sound like and look like they're enjoying themselves, that's enough for me, I think, to kind of keep at it.
Yeah.
Because I think that will become infectious and people will enjoy watching it and people will tune in. And maybe at some point what we can do is we can get to a point where we have our own overarching sort of narrative and we have games that are linked and all that kind of stuff. Right? I think that'd be cool. Stephen, thank you for the 5. Currently working on a narrative campaign for my gaming club in Glasgow called Crossfire. Any quick tips or things to avoid when making scenarios? Tips for making scenarios. This is a really shitty tip, but it is a tip, trust me. Make sure, and this is a hard one to do as well, but make sure that there is a way in which both players can win. So if you set up a narrative scenario where a bloke's going to turn up with 100 Hormagaunts, 100 Termagants, 100 Genestealers, and the other guy gets just five Terminators, the Terminator guy isn't going to win. He's got no chance of ever winning. So we, at the Factorum narrative, there is a mechanic in place. You can play 500 points against 2,000 points at the Factorum narrative. That is a thing you can do. But there is a mechanic in place that basically allows the player with 500 points to score more victory points based on how much of a disadvantage he is at. So if you ended up with a 500-point player playing a 6,000-point player, and the 500-point player holds an objective for the first 2 turns, he basically wins because of the way it's like a golf handicap, the way the score works. Okay, so that's it. Things to avoid: overcomplicated stuff. Avoid it. So if you get to a point where you're 9th edition Crusade and you've got to track every single unit and every single data sheet and everything everyone's saying, I think some people will get a bit turned off for that, right? And the same for the scenario. Overcomplicated scenarios with pages and pages and pages of what you need to do is going to turn people off. Simple scenarios that have a bunch of conditions, but they're simple to do. So we have invasions on planets, for example, which require... So if Chaos are invading a planet, they might have to win 7 games. Or they might not have to win 7 games. They have to play 7 games, and they have to get a majority victory to take the planet. It's quite simple. It's quite easy to follow, but it's complex enough to do. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. That's my tip. That's my best tip for you so far. I need to move this thing out of the way so I can read some of these other chats. Because it's blocking the bottom of the screen. Zena's back in chat. I haven't seen her for a while. She says work's been crazy. What?
Let's go quickly.
What?
Sorted.
My bogey's all over my face.
Yeah.
Nice. Zena's back in chat. She says she's been busy at work, but then comes in and drops the big 20 members. What a legend. Thank you. That means I have to update my thing now, don't I? I have to play with my thing, babe.
She did apologise. She said work's been bonkers.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay. I was typing.
You don't listen to me, do you?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Thank you so much, Zena, for the 20 gifted as well. You're a legend. If you got gifted one of your memberships from either Tyler, Zena, Mr. Sven Holy, or Leaks Feeks, make sure you say thank you in chat. Make sure you ! Discord. Make sure you get in Discord. Make sure you link your YouTube account to your Discord account. Make sure you enjoy the great haul and come and hang out with us and our beautiful people. Leaks, thank you for the 5. Say Space Marine Codex is out late November, December. Do you think its content will be affected by feedback post 10th launch, or will it have already gone to print? I don't know. My gut tells me it'll already gone to print, to be fair. But well, we're in July. If it says it's out, hang on, November, July 7, November 11, so 4 months. Yeah, that'll have been gone to print already. Almost definitely. So I think we might see day 1 FAQs, I guess, but that would have almost definitely already gone to print, I'm afraid. Jill, thank you for the 5. Narratively, drop pods should have a melee attack. The door cables are cut in desperation, slamming down on the enemy. I will die on this hill. I think in narrative there's a lot of things we could add in there. I love the idea of using your drop pod as a missile, landing on... I think didn't there used to be rules for that? Wasn't that a thing before? Couldn't you, like, land certain drop pods? I know, like, I think the assault claws or whatever, the old ones that you now can't take anymore, I think they used to have rules for landing on people. Doing damage, that's cool. Oh, that mead is going down far too well, babe.
The bee vomit.
The bee vomit, yeah. Slapping on the bee vomit. Morty Hammer, thank you for the poo. What a legend. What a hero. YouTube keeps stopping the stream when I make a purchase. Quite annoying. Oh, make one massive purchase then. Right? Then it only stops the stream once.
Make it worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. $100 dono, Moldy, and you're done. Okay? And then until tomorrow night, then do it again. I'm joking. Don't spend that much. Don't do that. Late to the game, going to watch from the start. Love what you just do. Keep up the fight. Thank you, Duke Spoon, your hero. Leaks. Drop pods should automatically battle shock the closest enemy. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Actually, I like that. If you're interested in going to the next narrative element game, Stockport, check out the pin link above. Yeah, guys, 100%. So, talking about the narrative, I urge you all. I saw some hands go up earlier. I urge you all. Oh my god. To check out that link and get yourself a ticket. I don't even know how much are they? Hang on.
35.
35 quid. Not even expensive for a whole weekend's worth of gaming. 35 quid.
But there's no... So when we do an event at Element, we put food on.
Yeah, there's no food.
This one's no food, so you'll need to sort
But there's no food
out.
on purpose as well.
Yeah.
Because when we do a narrative gaming day, there's not like a fixed lunch break.
No.
People can stop and eat and go over. And it's not like... So one of the things we don't do... This is interesting, actually. That's a good point, Lise. We don't have like game 1 half 9, game 2 half 11, game 3. Like we don't do that. We have you play whenever you fucking want.
Yeah.
So you can stop and go over the road to the pub, I think it's like a Hungry Horse or something, and get a full sit down lunch dinner, and then come back and carry on playing.
The only thing that's missing from our event was me getting a saucepan and a wooden spoon and ringing it like a bell and going, dinner's ready!
Yeah, stop fucking playing!
That was the only thing missing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So it's one of, I promise you people, it's one of the most chilled, enjoyable experiences you'll have. Now, I will add, genuinely, that when you first look at the player pack and when we first introduced the experience to you people, it is a little overwhelming because it's a completely different way of playing. And the whole way you set up missions and set up matches, there's a completely different way of playing. But Factorum, Cad's going, Alex is going, Robbie's going, and you probably know those people. The two Toms, if you've met them, are going. I'm going to be there. There are going to be plenty of people that are there to hold your hand and make sure that you know what you're doing. And once you've got half a day out of the way and you've kind of settled into it, you're probably going to go, I mostly understand what's going on now, and I'm here to have fun. Daryl's going to be there as well. By the way, people, if you watched last night's battle report, a lot of people asked us about the train from last night. A lot of people asked us about the train from last night. Daryl, Laser Cut Architect, is the one who provided it with us. ! LCA in chat if you want to look at his stuff. Some of it's starting to go up for sale. He'll be there as well at that weekend, so I'm sure he can talk to you about his terrain as well. But he messaged me this morning. I've got some extra followers and stuff on Facebook. So keep doing that. Keep supporting him. Keep supporting Daryl. Go find him on Facebook, Laser Cut Architect. He's in here as Laser Cut Architect because he's just launched his own YouTube channel and he's going to start doing some how to build my kit videos, which will be super helpful. So check him out as well. We love Daryl. Daryl's one of our favourite people.
And make sure you go, hey up, duck.
Carl says, will Joe be there? I don't know. Do you want me to ask him? Should I find out if Joe wants to go? Let me find out if Joe wants to go. Where's Joe?
Joe, he's our man.
Do you want to go to the narrative event at Element on the 19-20 of August, or do you hate chat? Send. There you go, chat. I've asked him.
Did you put kisses at the end?
No, I haven't put kisses
Well,
at the end,
obviously he's not going to text back if you haven't put kisses at the end.
The only person who gets kisses is Bridger.
God's sake.
Anyway, big shout out to John McCardle, who comes in and flops his massive penis on the table and gifts 50 memberships. What a legend. Did Joe used to work with Vanguard Tactics by any chance? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did used to work for Mr. the Vanguard Tactics, and then he saw the light and came to work for me.
I'm just going to say,
yeah.
Joe smiles more now.
Joe's much more happy now. That's
I'm
100%.
just going to say it.
Yeah. It's because he gets fingered less.
Or more.
Where's my WhatsApp just connecting? Come on, let's try again, WhatsApp. Oh, it's crashed. Oh, is it working now? Maybe. I think WhatsApp's down. The world will stop. Joe would be under N. Liam didn't. What do you mean under M? Hey up me duck. I've got towering from the pub next door, attack you from over my Yorkshire pudding, and ale from 3 doors away. That sounds like a great fucking narrative event, doesn't it? The only person who gets kisses is Bridger. That includes Luce. Exactly, Seeps.
No, I get the aubergine.
Don't like Vanguard Tactics, so I'm happy he's here. Oh, the viewer figures would say you're not alone, White Rabbit. Ooh.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, no, he didn't. Thanks for the gift, says Beth. Yeah, if you did get a gifted membership from the amazing John McArdle, he's a problem. He came in here yesterday as Toilet Dyson gifted 50 as well. He thinks I don't know it's him. He's the only one that gifts 50. No one else gives 50.
Toilet Dyson.
It's only him. I think WhatsApp's down here. Mine's the same. Well, we're not going to get an answer from Joe then, are we, chat? I'll wait.
I'll answer for him. Yes, of course I'm going.
Well,
What a stupid
to be
question.
fair, most of it is based on his availability childcare wise.
Yeah.
If he's got his daughter that weekend, then he won't be able to come.
So Carl of Hodgie just said he's got a ticket, but he might not go. And I asked why, and he said summer holidays. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Summer holidays.
If Joe's little one is at home with him, he might not be able to, but we don't know. If he can go, if he's free, I'll pay for his hotel and I'll pick him up so he can come and hang out with you people. Evening Boss caught up with your live stream this morning in the gym. Was a 5 a.m. start for 40k. I need to get back in the gym. I'm still recovering from this, we think, possibly COVID thing.
Yeah. I watched my toes turn blue. My circulation was so shit.
I had a long old meeting today with Factorum, and after it, Joe, Luce will tell you, after it, I was sat in this chair and I was nearly fucking asleep. I was so tired from just a meeting.
Yeah.
Joe is an N. Is he?
For National Treasure.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Mummy gives 50. She does when she turns up. 40k mate does the big 50. He does. They're not as frequent though, are they? As Mr. McArdle. Mr. the Big Dick. To be fair, Joe is susceptible to bribes even over his children. Yeah, I mean, he's always susceptible to bribes, 100%. If you offer him certain, like, I think Age of Sigmar models right now, you're probably gonna sway him.
I don't know. I think I could bribe him with a posh yogurt.
I don't know if he's about a posh yogurt person.
He buys those posh yogurts.
They're not posh yogurts. They're part of a Morrison's meal deal.
The fact that you have to put it together and you've paid more
I've got
than
an
like
itchy
a Muller
nose.
fruit corner,
Right.
that's a posh yogurt.
The inside of my nose is itchy, okay?
Okay.
I can't scratch it.
No.
As Chaos Overseer, I can thoroughly recommend the narrative. The player pack makes more sense when you're there. Also, Kill Team, Battle Fleet Gothic, Epic, and boarding actions are played too.
Yeah, I should add that as well. You can take your 40k army and play some 40k games, but you can also take any of those games that Weird Puppies just mentioned and play it. They play Battlefield Gothic as part of the event, they play Epic as part of the event, they play boarding actions as part of the event, and they play Kill Team as part of the event, right? There is so many things that they play there as part of one narrative. So you can turn up with your 40k army, your Titanicus army, your Battlefield Gothic printed army, and a kill team. You can play 4 different games over the course of the weekend and impact the narrative of each one of them. How fucking cool is that? You don't just need 2,000 points of broken. Anyway, I've got an itchy nose, okay?
Right.
It's itching on the inside of my nose.
Definitely pick it with a sharp thing.
So I can't scratch it on stream because it looks like I'm jamming my finger up my nose.
It does,
right?
yeah.
But I keep rubbing it like this. Actually looks like I've been on coke all day.
Does it? Is that what Coke looks like, Liam? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I got children. You have to get by somehow. Suits, thank you for the gifted 5. You're a legend. That is another 55 to add to the total. Oh, you people are beautiful people. Thank you. So 40 plus 15. Maths. My maths is still hot. Do you know who from Factorum team is going? No, I know the 2 Toms are going. I know Cad, Robbie, and Alex is going. I'm going to more than likely be there. I haven't booked a hotel yet. I'm going to more than likely be there. I don't know who else is supposed to be going yet. But sounds like a euphemism, that posh yogurt. Yeah.
If you have to assemble your food and you paid more for it in the first place than an already assembled version, it's the posh version that you're buying.
Yeah.
So it's a posh yogurt.
No. Angus says late to the... so are there specific faction tickets this time? No, there's no specific faction tickets. We've dropped that as a thing because we found that some people go, oh, I want to come. Oh, there's no Imperial Guard tickets left. I'm not coming anymore. And we would rather a person actually turned up than didn't turn up at all because they couldn't bring the faction that they wanted. So we changed it. I found the Factorum event too overwhelming. Really don't like the lack of structure or organisation. But as I'm local to Element, it's close enough to escape if needed or just to hang out. I get that, Jill, as well. Like there is... I think that most people that go to most events are so used to structure and so used to, you'll play this game at 9:30, and like even when we do Great Hall Gathering, we have kind of a structure to the day. And I think that genuinely some people do really struggle with the lack of structure, so I completely get it. And when I started, I was like, this is mental, what's going on? So I fully understand. And it's hard. So I think what we've tried to do is we've tried to bring in kind of faction leaders that do more of the kind of thinking for you and kind of tell you, hey, do you want to play this game here against this faction? And off you go and all that kind of stuff. And so I think we've tried to put something in place to give some people a bit of a guide or a person to go to, because I'm very conscious of the fact that some people do just prefer structure. And we're trying not to exclude anyone, but we have to, there's a balance to be struck, right, between making the narrative what we want it to be and structure. Arguably GTs are full of structure, but they're also full of hyper-competitive lists at times. Not so bad at Factorum, obviously. It's weird. It's a hard balance to be struck, but I completely get it. And if you need complete structure all through your day, it probably isn't for you. Probably. Although, like I said, with our faction leaders, we're trying to get to a point where, hey, I'm an Imperial player. So Tom, who's the Lord General, you can go to him and he'll say, we've got this attack on. We're going to attack these 5 planets. Here's 5 potential opponents. Which one do you want? Okay? Like, that one is, I think, a bit better for people at least. Hang on a minute. I'm so bored of this cough.
It's really annoying.
It's like 4 weeks. I'm so bored of this cough.
It's not 4 weeks at all.
It's like 3 weeks.
I tell you what, you and measurement and concept of time.
I'm so bored.
It's a wild ride with you.
I'm so bored of this. Chaos Faction Leader here, tracking the games and ensuring people had games to play and weren't milling around in a confused state was surprisingly fun. Some people like being the organizer, right? I may go to get Kill Team intro and some games. That sounds good, guys. Jill, you can't complain about structures when we play a single game of the entire day. Jill, thanks for the tea. Thank you for the update. Sounds much better. I mean, I just wanted to, because I know we had that conversation, right? I came and checked in with you when you were there last time. We had that conversation, and that's one of the reasons why I came away from it. It was like, okay, we've had this feedback. How can we kind of try and stop this from being a problem from people? So we put things in place to try and make it less kind of daunting and less kind of wild and overwhelming. If I'm honest with you, Jill, I don't think we're going to completely solve some people's problems with it, because I think that then will come away too much from what we're trying to achieve at the narrative event. But we absolutely took your feedback on board and tried to make, some changes. And we'll do that for anyone. Anyone who comes, if you come to Element, if you come to any of the Factorum events and you've got some important feedback, if you come to GTs, you come to any event, if you come to Great Hall Gathering, and you give us direct feedback about the event, I never promise that we will definitely act on what you say. Never. But we always take it on board. We take on board feedback from streams. We take on board feedback from Talking Head streams. We take on board feedback from game streams. I try and take on board feedback all the time. Now, when you do YouTube, it can be a bit overwhelming. We get a lot of feedback all the time. But one of the reasons why Friday was a positive card-based stream and today's a positive let's start playing narrative and enjoying ourselves type stream is because I had a comment on stream about how normally quite enjoy this channel, it's getting quite negative. And I was like, actually, yeah, it has been. Like, that person's correct. And I'm not a person who backs down to trolls. If I think someone's been a dickhead, I'll just tell them they're being a dickhead. But I was like, actually, this person's probably right. We are probably getting a bit negative because I'm a bit down on 40k right now. So I took that feedback and I've tried to make some changes. And although I'm still thinking that 40k is a hot mess, and I think it is a hot mess, doesn't mean we have to be negative all the time. What's interesting is as well, and this is something I've talked about loads before, right? When I was doing the fucking 10th edition's dog shit streams, right? 800 people watching. 800 people watching. Here's a good thing about 10th edition, 300 people watching. So you can see...
Bless me.
Bless you. That was a very, very ladylike sneeze.
You
can see how channels can fall down that negative kind of drain. Oh, hang on. If I talk about how crap and awful this is, I have 800 people watching me live. But if I talk about how much I like it and how good this is, I have 300 people watching me live. And if I talk about how much I hate it, I'm going to throw random numbers out here. This is nothing accurate. I might make £500 in super chats. But if I talk about how much I like it, I might make £100 in super chats. And you can see how people fall down that kind of weird, tumbly rabbit hole of being negative, and you can see how some channels can just turn into permanently negative channels, right? Honestly, wish you had a counterpart in the States. I unfortunately can't afford to cross the ocean to game and go to tournaments. That honestly sounds awesome. Maybe in the future. And when we grow and we grow and grow, when the channel's at 100,000 people, although subscriber growth is hard nowadays, when the channel's at 100,000 people, we become this big 40k monster and we're in a big professional studio. Maybe we can start running events in America and stuff as well. This is why this community is the absolute business, positive and adaptive. Yeah, Jill, thank you. Well, we try really hard. We try really, really hard, I think. And I will listen to a single person's feedback on purpose. And we might not be able to make a change. Sometimes I've listened to a single person's feedback about something and I'm like, oh, I get it, but really can't implement that change. That's just something we can't do, or something I can't do, or something I don't want to do. But we still listen. Like, I'm still, to this day, I still read every comment that comes through on YouTube after the video becomes a VOD. I think at some point in the near future, if the channel continues to grow, that might become an impossibility. But I still currently read through every comment on every video, and I take on board how people feel about the streams, etc. You know? I'd rather have a hot mess with a future than a ton of models and no one to play with. 100% Morty Hammer, sounds right. What difference do you think codexes will bring to list building versus index factions? Surely not bringing like war gear, etc. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. You're going to have more detachments to play with, more stratagems. So you won't just definitely have these same 6 stratagems you'd have to pick, but I don't know exactly what's the change to be. And was that a sneezing hamster, says Daryl?
No.
No.
How many nights are you going to be at Element?
I'll book my hotel. It's fine. I'll sort it.
You sure?
Yep.
I'm about to pay.
No.
Okay.
I'll sort it. Because I'll need to know if I'm sorting Joe out as well.
I've just messaged him.
I've already tried to message him. JK, relentlessly negative channels do my head in. Keep getting suggestions for some of them. I don't think. I mean, maybe it's just I'm lucky with my algorithm on YouTube, but I don't think there's loads, is there? I think there is some, right? There is some. Drama sells. Drama does sell. Look at the news. There's a reason on news is always bad news. Zena, thank you for the 5. I am super excited about the Thunderwolf Cavalry. I've played a couple of small games with them, and they are really great for their point value. That's good. I'm glad you're excited about something. I think Thunderwolf Cavalry, their rules are cool. I really don't like the models. Is that bad? Like, the idea of space marines riding giant wolves is cool, but I think the models aren't the greatest. They could do with me. I think they could do with a refresh, right? JK, thanks for the gifted membership. You're a hero. What a legend. Puts us on 84. So we're almost at the same as last night. We're 2 away from being the same as last night. But last night we didn't meet the 100. So what we actually need tonight is 114 to make up for last night, okay? So actually, what we're saying is we are 30 away from me being happy, right? Me being happy. Gaz says, wait, he reads every comment. Liam blows goats. I don't do that on the live stream, Gaz. Chat's moving far too fast. Chat's moving far too fast on live stream for me to read every single comment on the live stream. I have to skim through most of them, but I can't read all of them. Okay, I'm trying. But on the on-demand part, I read every comment. It's getting the balancing right. Put the game down too much and people get put off the stream. Oh, absolutely, Chris. It's just weird though, right? So I feel sometimes, chat, I feel like I'm a bit strange compared to normal people. Don't you say a word? Sometimes I feel like I'm a bit strange, and I'll explain why. Like I said, I do my negative stream. I can't. Hang on, let me have a quick Luke YouTube Studio. Okay. After I got back from Titans, and I started to do some. I think I did my first Talking Head after Titans, which was a negative one. Now 10th edition is fully released. What a mess. Okay. That one had 700 to 800 people watching that one live. Okay. 700 to 800 people watching that one live. And it's a hot mess. Okay. Then I've done some more positive ones. Like tonight's a positive one, talking about narrative. Okay. And we have 300 people. So we have 400 to 500 people less watching because I'm doing something positive to something negative. And I don't understand that. I don't want to tune in on negative stuff. Whether I'm watching the news, whether I'm on YouTube, whether I'm searching for my favourite hobby, whatever I'm doing, I typically avoid negative. I don't read tabloid newspapers, for example. Okay? because I really don't need negative stuff all around me all the time, because I feel like it brings a person down. This is my own, personal belief, but I think it brings always being surrounded by negative brings it down, especially overly negative for the sake of being negative. Okay, so, and there is 100% a balance to be struck. I've always said that we'll be honest on the channel. I encourage the guys to be completely honest about how they feel. I think the reverse is also bad for people. So I think nothing but positive is also bad for a person, and it gives you kind of a false expectation. So there needs to be a middle ground. But what I can say for those channels that are overly negative all the time is I can totally see how people can fall down that rabbit hole, because it gets the engagement. It's mad. Right? It just does. Zena, 20 more gifted memberships.
I've just messaged Joe again.
That puts her on 40. That's 10 behind Mr. the John. Thank you so much, Zena. You legend in the chat. That puts us 10 away from what we needed for... you're a hero, Zena. Thank you so much. I'm going to add them in right now. What are you messaging to? Why are you giggling to yourself over there as well? What are you saying to him?
Because I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kisses at the end after Tyler correctly pulled me up on my own grief giving that I forgot the kisses. And then I put, I will send nudes. And then in bracket, of a stranger. Don't ask me how I'll get hold of them. Tough times. End bracket. If you message me back first. And then I went on Facebook Messenger and put, Joseph!
The positivity and fun that I saw when you were at 10 Days of 10th is why I am supporting both you and them. I love the positive spin and looking at the game through a lens of playing with friends to have fun, not just GTs.
Simply Brazen, thank you so Sorry. Sorry, thank you so much for the 20. You're a hero. This is the thing. One of our kind of missions. We're not a big company. I'm a single man running a YouTube channel with a team of people that like to have fun, right? If we had things like mission statements, like big companies have, then one of our mission statements would be around, doing this to enjoy yourself and enjoy the time you spend with others. Like social time, hobby time, they're a precious commodity in the modern world. We all work probably too hard and too much. So that kind of time is a precious commodity. So what you can do is you can plow tons of time and effort into being the gamiest meta person possible, so you can win as many games as you possibly can. Cool. Are you actually really having loads of fun? I'm sure for some people that probably is, right? Probably is the way they enjoy themselves. But I think for most, that's probably not true. I think for most, you're going to have a more fulfilling experience if you play with a friend of yours on the tabletop and you have a laugh and you enjoy yourselves. And you do care who wins and loses, but it's not the be-all and end-all. And at the end of the game, you care more about, have you just enjoyed yourself? Have you enjoyed yourself? Have I enjoyed myself? Was there some epic moments? Did we have a giggle? Have we laughed at ourselves? Yeah, cool. That's what the hobby should be about. That's what escapism is about for me personally. Again, I need to reiterate, nothing against those people that like hyper-competitive. Nothing against those people that like to go to GTs. But I think that's a slither of individuals in this whole space. I think that's a small niche within a niche within a niche, okay? That's it. And I think the majority of us, the majority of people probably don't even play the fucking hobby. The majority of people probably are builders, painters, book readers. So we are a niche in terms of players, and we are a niche again when you look at the competitive scene. And they're fine. They're okay to do themselves and do their thing and go and play competitively. I think one of the mistakes that not only GW has done over the course of 9th edition, but I think we've all done this, right? And I'm not criticizing you directly, chat, but I am a little bit. I think we've all been guilty of this. I think we've all been guilty of focusing the hobby is this portion here, which is GT mission pack, competitive balance, balanced data slate, meta watch, etc. And so what I've done recently is I've taken a step back from that and gone, that's not the hobby for me. That's not my version of 40k. When I used to play weekly 40k, when I was back up in Ipswich in the army, I was playing on a board on my bed in our bedroom with a friend of mine. There was no GTs, no tournaments. We just played. We enjoyed it.
Total sidetrack, but had to share. Someone on Reddit spotted it's legal to put a tyrannocyte inside another tyrannocyte. Inside another, etc., long as there's a unit in the last one.
Brilliant. So it's like Russian doll soups, is that what you're saying? That sounds like fun. So yeah, so like I've taken a step back and I've gone, hey, why did I start playing? Like Luce will tell you, she used to get pissed off, genuinely pissed off. She'd come upstairs because we had a double bed, obviously, and that was our only double bed we had in our house. And we used to clear the duvet off the double bed. I used to have the 6-piece tiles that used to make the 4 by 4 foot board. We used to put those 6 tiles on my double bed, so it was the only place I could lay out a full 6 by 4 foot table. And my friend would come round and we played 2K. And she'd come up at 10:30 at night and be like, "Are you nearly finished?" "No. I want to go to fucking bed." I'm like, "Yeah, we're having fun."
Yes, I've just come in off a 13-hour shift. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah. And we fucking hell. Fuck this cough and COVID bollocks, honestly. And we were there stood in the evening just having fun, enjoying ourselves with a few beers and playing 40k. At that point, GTs and GT mission packs and ITC points weren't even a thing on my radar. It just wasn't a thing on my radar. Wasn't a thing I cared about.
Was there GTs and like the big tournaments, were they a thing during that time when we lived in the old house and Lee would come?
Oh, I think GTs and tournaments have been a thing almost forever.
Oh, okay.
They definitely were in 7th, and that's when Lee and I were playing. And you could go and do a ITC event, or you could play normal 40k. ITC events was a thing, and ITC was a thing that was. This is a really interesting question, actually, Lise. It's back in 7th edition, and I think even 8th edition. Tournaments, GTs, if you went to them, you were playing ITC format. ITC format was a style of gameplay, a mission type of gameplay that was organised and run.
I've had a few games with Chaos Demons. I can't help but make narrative style lists, and the index reflects the playstyle. Win or lose, it's damn fun.
I mean, that means it's a good index, nobody epic as well. That means it's a good index, but I'm glad you're having lots of fun. So those mission formats and those game formats were ITC format, which was organised and designed by the team at Frontline Gaming.
Okay.
So GW didn't make them. So GW went, here's 40k, we've made this cool fun game, and Frontline Gaming went, doesn't really work competitively because it's there for fun. So here's ITC format, which takes out some of the random, gives you fixed missions to score points. So we've got a tournament pack. And it worked really nicely because the majority of people would just play rulebook 40k.
Is there any other company that's had that? A second company, nothing to do with the first one?
Almost definitely,
tweaked
probably.
it?
I don't know if it's certain.
That's interesting.
So then when 9th edition hit, GW went, no. We're not going to have ITC format made by Frontline Gaming and normal 40k made by Games Workshop. Games Workshop is now going to make the tournament format as well. We're going to make the tournament format as well. And I actually, to start with, I was like, this is a positive thing. This is a good idea. GW are taking it all in-house and they'll do all the work. I think this is a good idea. And it's going to normalise competitive play for people. It's going to normalise tournament play for people, right? So I wasn't against it, to be clear, chat. I thought it was a good idea. However, since they've started doing that, I felt that we've gone down this route and we've kind of focused in on this is the way to play now. So people that play random pickup games in 9th edition played tournament mission pack and didn't play anything else. And people that played GTs played tournament mission pack. And everything was tournament mission pack all the time, tournament mission pack. And so what's happened is the community over time has almost been conditioned to, whether intentionally or not, focus on tournament mission pack. And 40k is about so much more than tournament mission pack. It's about the whole thing. It's about the experience, about the rich narrative, the lore. I used to remember when I used to play before GW took on tournament mission pack, almost any player you would come up against, unless you're playing at a tournament in ITC format, their characters had a story. Hey, this is my captain, and he has done this, and he's done this epic deed, and this is this guy, and he's like this, and he's got this marking on his shoulder pad because of this. Everyone had these stories about their characters.
Oh wow!
It's almost like this, like weird D&D kind of mini RPG type thing. Yeah, and it was amazing. Everyone had these little stories, and I remember I used to build characters, and I used to do things on purpose to fit a narrative, and I wanted everyone to have a similar marking, and they have this marking because of this, and they all have red coloured helmets because of this reason, and all that kind of stuff. Like you'd create your own narrative about your army. And I don't know many people that didn't create a narrative about their army. My army's left arms are all painted this colour because of this narrative reason. Does it have any impact on any in-game rule? Nothing at all. Nothing whatsoever. Is it because I've decided that this is my story that I'm telling about my Space Marine chapter? 100% that's what I'm doing. It's the only reason why I'm doing it. And then when GW kind of took control of the tournament scene, that kind of all went away, mostly. Some people will still give you their narrative when you get to the tabletop, even at a tournament, and go, hey, this is why I've done this. And I'm like, my people. You're my people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go, so why have you got 3 units of these? Because it's the strongest in the book. Cool. Okay.
Wow. I think if I asked, why you got 3 of those? And they went, oh, it's strongest in the book. I don't know if I'd want to play now. Straight away.
Never played Joe then.
Straight away, this isn't going to be very fun.
Yeah. Soup says we definitely got our money's worth out of Tempest down our local. Tempest was a roaring success, and I'm so pleased to see that transpose over to this new mission deck. I think that was a good move by them. Tim, thank you for the 5 gifted. You're a hero. I don't know if I added them or not. I think I added them. I'm not sure if I did. But thank you, Tim. You're a legend. Rambo, thank you for the 2. Have to find the good in all things, mate. Be a good motherfucker. 100% absolutely, completely agree with you. You do have to find the good often. The world is a bit of a shitty place at times. You have to find the good. And part of what you can do by finding the good is you can surround yourself in other people that are trying to find the good. Okay? Like going to things like this Factorum narrative event. Whether you go down to Element or whether you go to the one at
Factorum?
Sorry, whether you go down to Factorum or whether you go to the one at Element, thank you. What you'll be doing if you go to that kind of event is you're surrounding yourself by people who want to play it the same kind of way. Right? That's that's I think if you sometimes I genuinely believe that sometimes life can actually your life experience can and your mood and all that kind of stuff can be heavily impacted by the people that you surround yourself with. And the situations that you put yourself in. But often the situations that you put yourself in are directly related to the people that you surround yourself with. Okay? So if you surround yourself with negative people or people that do bad things or have bad habits, typically you'll find yourself kind of following the crowd because it's a natural human kind of thing to do. If you surround yourself with people that are get up and go, more positive, want to enjoy life, then you'll probably find that you're enjoying it more as well. Okay?
I don't know. Those people can quickly become insufferable.
No, again, much like talking about negative content and positive content, there's a green area and then there's extremes. And I don't think you want to be near any of the extremes. You don't want to be the hyper positive people. Fuck them.
It's a bit like having a really shit day. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed anyway. And then somebody like Mr. Smiley Bromley comes in and you're like, oh, fucking hell, here we go. I can say to him, I've had my foot run over, my workplace caught fire, I lost my keys, I've lost my purse, I got mugged. And he will find joy somewhere in there. And you'll be like, Brom, please have a day off. Just for once. Yeah. Can you just say it's fucking shit today? Can you just do it for me, please? You just say you've had a fucking
bad day and put that stupid bastard grin away.
You're like, go away, Brom.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Are you back on track for members now, says Gaz. Gaz, we are 91 away from 200. There you go. Okay. Camden, thank you for the 5. I feel most people are like that in terms of comp. The problem is there are units that are so bad and so good, they skew even extremely casual. They do, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God points are still granular so we can balance them all. They would primaries your paint scheme if they could. Scatter dice were hysterical. They were the definition of storytelling dice. I actually kind of miss scatter dice. Although, so here's the thing, right? Okay, this is interesting, Alan. I genuinely believe, this is my own personal belief system, but I genuinely believe that scatter dice, blast templates, and flamer templates were removed because of competitive 40k. Because in a competitive environment, those things caused so many fucking arguments, right? When we used to do the scattering mortar strikes on chat plays with the scatter dice, every single time we roll that scatter dice, even near the template, and Brom moves that template, for example, I will guarantee you that 100% of the time I'll disagree with the direction he's moved in. I don't say anything. We're on stream. We're having fun. Who gives a fuck his chat plays? But like the arrow will be pointing that way, and he'll move the template that way. And I'm like, that's not the way it's fucking pointing, you clown. It's pointing that way. Move it that way. That's the way it's pointing. And that could just be my perspective. So they just created tons of arguments, and people were just not going to ever agree. in a fun and friendly environment, in an environment where I'm, again, playing in my bedroom with my mate Lee in my house whilst Lucy's trying to go to bed, in that environment, we never really had a problem. Like, oh, you've got 4 under the template, maybe 5, not sure, and your hand's moving. I'm just going to give you the 5 because that's what friends do with each other. Benefit of the doubt, almost always. And if you have that friend who never gives you the benefit of the doubt, then what you do is you stop giving him the benefit of the doubt. But in terms of competitive, people would actually argue with each other. Tony, thank you for the 20 gifted. What a fucking hero. Zena then swoops in for another 5 gifted. Zena, stop it. Although, 6 more and you knock Mr. McCardle off of top spot. And Mr. McCardle then gets competitive. I'm just saying, Zena. But thank you for 5 more. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. You're both heroes. I love you dearly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I now need to do maths. And I think it's 61. Yeah. Beautiful humans. Adrian, thank you. Archon, Psylocke, thank you for the 2. Competitive fluff lists are the way to go. Cheers. Competitive fluff. It can be done, though. It absolutely can be done. It's a 100 thing. It absolutely can be done.
Brian received his white dice. Whoop, whoop.
Do you like them, Brian? He says amazing.
They look like food to me.
Do we still have white dice left?
We've only got a few packets left.
Have we got a few packets left that are actually for sale, though?
Yeah. Like,
Shopify.
literally maybe 3, I think.
How many packs of white dice are in stock, chat? Dum dum dum. Bum bum bum. Products. We have 5 packs of white dice in stock still.
Okay.
That's it. Just
I
the
was
5
maybe
actually.
right.
I guess there's someone to make it. Oh,
Hi, I have been on hold, so I have missed the last couple of streams.
How dare you.
I heard on another stream something about someone flushing dice down a toilet. WTF. What
okay, we
happened?
talked about this briefly yesterday. Now, I've heard this from a person who's heard this from a person, and I've watched a few streams. I wasn't there. I don't know for definite. It's like 4th hand, right?
So it's definitely true.
There was a GT that was ran at Element, not by Element, but hosted by Element. It was ran at Element. There was a GT that was ran there very soon after the launch of 10th edition, before any of the nerfs have come into place. Okay, those things, those tournaments that people go to straight after edition launches are always bonkers because there is no balancing in place. An individual chose to take Eldar to said GT, which, as we all know on launch, were the most busted army in the game. Not only did he take Eldar, but as far as I'm aware, he took Meta Eldar as well. So the strongest he could possibly take with the units he had available to him. They were an incredibly powerful army. Now, Meta Eldar, in the launch of 10th edition, are borderline unbeatable. They're just so powerful and so good. But what this individual also chose to do was take himself some baked dice. Now, he didn't use the baked dice for all of his rolls, but he was using his baked dice for fate dice, which meant that his fate dice just kept happening to be 6s. And if you have 6s as your fate dice with Eldar, then you fuck everybody and their nan when you're playing 40k. At some point, what happened was he got called about these dice. People got a bit suspicious about these dice. This is, again, 4th hand, talking to a mate from a mate who went, etc., right? And so, when confronted, he did what any sane person would do and rushed to the toilet with his dice.
How many dice?
I don't know.
Fate dice.
He then attempted to flush said dice down said toilet. Now, the mistake that he made is the man didn't use toilet paper or poo to try and layer on top of dice and force down said toilet. So when someone went in there after him, said dice were in the toilet still because they hadn't actually flushed away.
What makes a baked dice? What do you weight it?
I have no idea. I have no idea how you bake or weight a dice. When I say baked dice, I believe there is a thing you can do with them in the oven or a microwave.
I was about to ask, do they go in the oven? Is that why they're baked?
Honestly, Lucy, I have no idea how you bake or weight them.
To make baked dice. Asking for a friend.
Yeah, so that's how I understand it, Stu. Thank you for the 10. You're a hero.
It's come up with baked potatoes.
Hey?
It's come up with baked
Oh,
potatoes.
okay. Whether you're playing with the red dice on camera, I wasn't intending to. We could try.
That'd be nice.
I actually kept 2 packs of the red dice just for me. Just for me to play with. Because my sisters that I'm painting right now, that's right, chat, I'm actually painting sisters. Hang on. My sisters that I'm painting right now are red armor and black robes. Okay. See, I'm actually painting some sisters. I told you I would. And so I've kept my red dice to play with my red sisters. Okay. He was using it to guarantee first turn so he could shoot opponents off the table before they could move, as I understand it. Oh my god. Who it's fucking 40k, people. Come on. What's up, Lise?
It tells you how to do it. I don't know if I should read it out.
I mean, anyone can Google it, sweetheart. It's not...
That's true. Why might... Yeah, hang on. Let me... So it says... Oh my god, pop-up adverts. So it says you put the dice in the oven with the pips that you want to keep rolling up facing the ceiling of the oven, and that's baked dice.
Okay. I don't know how... I don't know how to do those.
Apparently.
That's... I feel like they just melt.
So to make a pair of trick dice to roll whatever number you want, like a 7, all you need is a regular pair of dice in an oven. Simply put the dice in the oven with whatever numbers you want to roll face up and bake. The heat melts the dice slightly and causes the bottoms to be heavier, but barely changes the look and feel of the dice as a whole.
There's a video in this.
There is a YouTube video.
There's a video in this. How to bake Liam Dempsey dice.
No, please don't go baking dice.
That will be my first ever viral video.
No, it shall not be.
We'll take two of our new dice. We'll put them on the baking tray in the oven. See if it works.
What a walloping cockwomble.
I have actually got a bag of dice here because one of the pips it's imperfect. So we could bake 2 dice just to see if that works because one of them's already imperfect anyway.
That's a viral YouTube short, that is.
I'm not going to put it on a YouTube. No, I'm not. I just want to see for myself now.
It's a viral YouTube short, that chat. We need to get that YouTube short ready for the next time we have dice in stock. And then we have to put that out with when the dice go in stock. So not only can you buy your Liam Dempsey dice, but here's how you bake them.
No, don't.
Right? That's what we should do. That's what we should do. 100%. Then stop it. That's enough. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Puts her on 55. She is the gifted leader for the night.
She is gifted.
She has beaten Mr. the McCardle. Beaten Mr. the McCardle. Thank you so much, Zena. You're an absolute legend. I love you dearly. You're a hero. Welcome back to the stream. You can stop now. Please stop now. You start making me feel bad. But thank you so much, you're a hero.
Sean says Mikey found the online store selling the actual loaded dice in question.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, Mikey's done some streams about it. Again, I don't normally say this. In fact, I'm saying it more lately, but check out Mikey at Hellstorm because he's covered this. She has covered this, yeah, absolutely. I soaked mine in chicken blood and spoke in a strange language until they rolled better, says Paint at Dawn. That's one way you can do it.
Yeah.
Wait, Liam, so when you have a lot of sisters on the board, you could say you have a red tide. Fitting since they are all angry and murderous. Also the dice were lead weighed. There's a site that sells them so they always land on the number you paid for.
That's mad. I mean, there's nothing illegal about it, but who goes searching for those and buy? Honestly, that's mad. Oh my god. Mandy, thank you so much for the giant 50 dono. What a legend. The sisters are red and angry, but they're only red and angry 1 week a month. I can only play with them 1 week a month because that's when they're murderous. That's how it works, isn't it?
God, people buying dice.
I thought that sigh was just disappointed in me, to be fair, chat.
Do you reckon you'll ever have to get to a point of checking everyone's dice? Or you'll say to people you can't bring your own dice?
At the events I typically frequent, I don't think it's ever going to be a problem. Honestly.
What about the really big tournaments where there's cash prizes? And...
I think it could be argued that... at big events with big cash prizes, I think it could be argued that he should be supplied dice to play with.
Yeah, actually.
And I think if it's a big cash prize, I don't even know if LVO is a big cash prize, but I think if it ever got to a point where there's big cash prizes, then you would want Vegas casino dice, which are supposedly the most balanced dice in the world.
Are they the metal ones?
No. They're just the big, chunky, like flat corner square ones.
I was going to
Vegas
say,
casino dice.
Half your models will get ruined.
Yeah. But I feel like that's by the event supplying dice and using a form of dice that's considered the most balanced dice that exists, supposedly.
Right.
That's the only way you'll ever remove it. So we talk about baked dice a lot. We talk about weighted dice a lot as a bit of a piss take. I actually honestly don't think it's all that common. I personally don't believe I've ever come, and I've played a lot of events and a lot of tournament games, and I don't think I've ever come across a player who's played with loaded dice. I've played against players who have rolled hot, but fuck me, I've played against Joe, who's rolled supremely hot with his dice. And it's funny, because him and I are using the same fucking dice.
Yeah.
You know? And there's times, there's times we've played on a stream where if you took Joe's half of the dice roll and you watched it in isolation, you'd think he was using baked dice. But I'm using the same fucking dice and my rolls are awful. Right? So but in isolation, you'd think he was using baked dice. You know? And there's other things that's in place. So, for example, part of the ITC Code of Conduct states that I'm playing you and I suspect your dice are a bit weighted. I am allowed to ask to use your dice. You are not allowed to refuse me. Yeah. So if I think you've got a loaded dice that's a 6 and I need to roll a dice where I need a 6, I can be like, can I use your dice, please? And if you say no, I'm going to go, well, why not?
Yeah. Has that ever happened?
Not to me personally, no.
I bet that's happened to someone.
So yeah, try reverse rolling. So you roll for your opponent to fail hit rolls, fail win rolls, and they roll to pass your armor saves. Yeah, absolutely.
What about rolling dice just willy-nilly in the table?
What about it?
Because there's so many different types of dice. There are the metal ones, there's the resin ones, plastic ones, and I'm assuming all tournaments don't all have dice trays.
No tournament that I know supplies dice trays.
Is there an etiquette to you can't just like a knobhead go throwing dice in the middle of everything?
That's
you have to roll it to the side.
What do you think, chat? Is there an etiquette to it? I don't think there's an etiquette to it. So when I play, I typically take a dice tin with me, a metal tin about that big. I take a dice tin with me.
Yeah.
And depending on the terrain layout and my army, more often than not, I'll take the lid off of that dice tin and I will roll my dice in the dice tin. And what I'll often say to my opponent, and I know lots of people that say this to their opponents, they'll say, I'm going to roll in this tin. Not in the tin doesn't count.
Oh,
so if I roll and one bounces out and it's a roll that I don't want, I've already said, not in the tin doesn't count, and I'll pick it up and I'll re-roll it. Same as if I roll it, one bounces out and it is a result I want, I've already said.
Anyone caught with baked dice should be shot with paintballs, as Liv might be a bit strong.
I mean, thank you so much, Stu, for the 10. So if I then my first roll, one bounces out and rolls a 6 and I wanted a 6, I've said out the tray doesn't count and I'll pick it up and I'll re-roll it.
What about if
What
about if some lunatic turns up with 20 metal dice?
Yeah, so the problem I have with rolling on the table isn't necessarily worrying about my models being damaged. Honestly, I don't think that's a problem for me. The problem I have with rolling on the table is a rogue dice that fucks off into a piece of terrain. There's been occasions where someone will go, it's a 6. I'm like, I can't see it. And the only way I can see that is by just lifting that terrain piece out, which I can't do because our models are already all over it as well. So we're going to move things, mess things up.
What, can't you walk around to their side of the table?
You can, but what they'll do is they'll reach their hand in and you can be kind of, if I'm honest with you can be kind of really obvious about it. Like, I feel like if there's a dice inside a piece of terrain and someone reaches their hand in like this and pulls it out like that, you watch their hand. It's almost impossible for them to sleight of hand it. It's almost impossible. So I trust most people, to be honest with you. Yeah. But if you're rolling in a dice tray, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's going in the tray anyway. So that's my preference. If I have a big open space on the table, and I also when I have a very open space on the table, you know what I do? I don't roll my dice like this across the fucking table. I just roll them into the open space, and so you can see them all. And I also don't have a problem with that, because there is something more satisfying for me personally about rolling on the mouse mat material that is a tabletop gaming mat.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's a nicer feel and a nicer sound than in a tray where it goes every time you roll a dice. Personally, but there you go.
What I really like is when people get like a dice shaker, and it sounds like a very old dog training technique where you put a few little pebbles in an empty bottle and you shake the bottle when the dog barks because you're trying to compete with the noise. It's just such a jarring sound. And it's one of those of, I'm not even playing the game, but there must be a better way for you to roll dice, because even me across the room, I'm about to stab you. Please stop.
I have to get Daryl to design a dice tray with our logo on it, with a lid that fits over as well.
Maybe it's got like rubber or...
Yeah.
So it's a dampened sound.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll make it standard mouse mat size.
Okay.
because supplying the rubber a piece is going to be a pain in the ass. So if we make it standard mouse mat size as a dice tray, right, with a lid on it, and then you can just buy any mouse mat you want and it will fit because it's standard mouse mat size.
Okay, yeah.
And then you can personalise it with your own mouse mat as well. That could be cool. We could do that, something like that, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So it says, my dice aren't baked or anything, but I won't let my nephew use them. He curses dice. Let him use my dice once and roll so many ones afterwards. Just do it easy. Any dice can be thrown once and must be discarded after the roll. Baked dice users will go bankrupt. An old bakey tin with a small GW dice. What else are people saying? I always see dice trays at the side of the map or rolling in the most open area of the table, says Fat Fox. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I bring a dice tray and just say I'm happy for my opponent to use my tray, but all my rolls will be in the tray and out of the tray doesn't count. 100% is what I do. James says dice trays. Manny says dice tray 100%. See, there is... I don't think there's not necessarily written etiquette necessarily, but there is kind of unwritten etiquette there. I think a lot of people will, if you see a dice tray, a lot of people go, cool, we're rolling in the dice tray.
We're in the dice tray.
Yeah, I think most people don't have a problem with it. Most annoying sounds, says Dave B, Eddie's voice. I love my wooden dice tray, felt lined, but still gives a nice sound on the wood. Someone got, but I think if you put a mouse mat in it as well, and then we could design Liam Dempsey mouse mats.
Yeah.
We could sell them.
My most annoying sound, I don't think it's one sound, it's unpredictable loud sounds. I hate them. They instantly put me in a bad mood. I hate them.
We'll have to have a stock of dice trays here and a stock of mouse mats, and then people can buy them as a package deal.
Yeah?
There's legs in this. And watch me now order 100 dice trays and 100 mouse mats and sell 3. That's what happened. Don't worry, a buddy of mine, I rolled 90% of rolls where 5+ he used the same dice and rolled ones. That happens all the time. Fucking Joe, honestly.
Hearing Luce say I'm about to stab you is scary because we all know she's from Coventry and she will stab you.
It's just, I saw somebody doing it as a training technique for their barking dog when they're out and about. I think the dog was anxious. I don't know, maybe it was a rescue, I'm not sure. But you get like an empty, I don't know, Lucasade bottle, put some pebbles in it, and every time the dog barks, you shake the bottle. And I think you're supposed to compete with the noise with the dog or interrupt their cycle of barking. But just it can't be a pleasant way to retrain the dog. It's jarring for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would stop the dog from barking, but that particular noise was just like...
Teeth grinding.
Yeah.
That's the worst noise in the world.
Brom teeth grinding.
Teeth grinding. I hate teeth grinding.
Noise.
You know when people rub their teeth against each other? A lot of people do it in their sleep. I hate that noise. Cordius, thank you so much for the 5. I think the whole loaded dice thing gets blown up out of proportion. Yeah, some dipshit use some, but in my 150 games of Night, nobody ever cheated. That's exactly my point. 100% agree with you. Exactly my point. I don't think I've ever come across a person who I genuinely believe has used loads of dice. I've joked with people about it. I've joked with Joe about it. But like I said, I joke with Joe about it when he's using the same fucking dice I'm using. You know? So... honestly, I don't think it's ever been a problem for me either. I don't think it's ever been an issue. So
it probably...
but because when you hear about it,
yeah.
I think it's one of those things, like when you hear about it, it's so shocking that it spreads like wildfire. We've already talked about this on stream tonight already. Everyone loves bad news. Everyone loves drama. So it spreads like wildfire. Before you know it, everybody in the community is talking about this one individual. So it kind of sounds like it's one, a big deal, and 2, super common. But it's neither.
No.
It just isn't.
Jim Jam was talking about something earlier, and I said to him, it's so rare that thing happens. And then I tried to say, because we live in the land of digital, you know, you can talk to your grandma in Australia in a matter of minutes, that it probably feels like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen all the time. I can't remember what he was talking about, but it was definitely like, it just doesn't happen.
Here's another horrible noise.
Yeah.
When someone slides a metal fork on their teeth.
Mine's the wooden lollipop sticks. That
noise, metal.
No, get out.
My brother.
Or cutting when your knife and fork scratch the plate.
My brother used to do it on purpose just to piss me off because he knew I hated it.
Poor Ash.
It doesn't help that I've got teeth like a drop piano. So this tooth. I mean, I'm aware. Chat, right? I'm aware I've got teeth like I've been fucking gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson without a gum shield in. This tooth here, half of it got knocked out with one of them big thick yellow tennis rackets when I was a child, and then I had to get a half a fake one put on. That one then got head-butted out playing rugby, and the dentist had to force it back in. That one then had to have root canal on it. So my teeth are a mess, and I think that's why I really hate the noise.
So, you are saying you want one of my leather-lined cigar boxes to roll your dice in?
I mean, that sounds amazing. If it was to happen to come with cigars in it, even better. So I think because I've had thank you, by the way, for the 10s. Because I've had such front tooth trauma, I think that's why when people slide things on their teeth, it just makes me shiver. I hate it.
I used to know someone who hated clicking. The sound of clicking.
That?
Yeah, they hated
Oh, really?
it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And they would do, obviously chat can't see me, but they would do this as what we now know is stimming.
Here's the one.
Do that.
Eating with your mouth open.
Ugh. I know. They try really hard though, babe. They do try really hard.
My fucking children.
It's good. I like to see all the food moving around.
It's worse when they've got head colds as well, because then I know I can't be angry. And my eldest, he'll be all bunged up, so he can't breathe through his nose and he can't breathe through his face, bless him, and he's suffering. And he's sat there going, I'm like, I want to fucking chin you. I hate that noise. Hate it so much. Joe's getting back to me, by the way. Did he message you back first?
Oh, I bet he didn't. What time did he message you?
20:37. I'm lying. WhatsApp was down then. The sound of frost grinding against another frozen item in the freezer. That's an interesting one. Leadership test used to be the best check for weighted dice. Happened to a friend at an old fancy tournament. Opponent then started failing every break test when they made them use the same dice. Karma. My friend group tried to hide one of our dice in the other's dice bags to curse their dice, and until they noticed. Worst noise, says Angus. Other people.
Other people.
2d6. Close your mouth. Constant in my house. Yeah, talking with a mouthful. I hate that too.
My dad used to hate it when when kids don't pick their feet up when they walk and they kind of drag the shoes as they walk. He used to hate that. Claudia
says, worst noise, I play Aldari, true. Adrian says, dog licking himself. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Our dog is banished to the cupboard at night time. Because I cannot tell you how annoyed I got at being woken up at 2 a.m. by her lapping at her own vagina. That horrible fucking tonguing, slurping sound. No, I am talking about the dog, not Luce. And she'd come round to my side of the bed, lie on the floor, and then start lapping at herself. And I'm like, what are you doing? So she is banished to the... We have a cupboard under the stairs, like Harry Potter. We've taken the door off it. We put like a stairgate on it. And we put a little bed in there and her water bowls in there. And all that. So she's and her little toy baskets in there. She loves it. But she's banished to the cupboard under the stairs at night time. Honestly, I hate the sound of snow. That weird crunching noise when you walk in it.
Oh,
I actually get it. I get that.
Really?
Yeah, I can see why that would be an annoying sound. I don't mind it, but I can see why it would be an annoying sound. I get that one.
I've never known that.
Yeah. Worst noise, says Soups. Is it in yet?
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Honestly. Worst noise I ever heard was a rabbit screaming after being hit by a car. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, I've heard a rabbit screaming because we used to hunt them with hawks. That's another story for another time. Because everyone's going, what? What do you mean you used to hunt things with hawks? That's right. Medieval Britain over here. When we got married... I've told the story before, but for the people that are relatively new to the channel, when we got married, Lucy used to live in the busy suburbs of Coventry, basically in the city centre as well. So her nighttime repertoire of noises was smashing bottles and stabbing people. That's what she heard. So 2 o'clock in the morning would be the emptied bottle bin at the local nightclub.
It would normally go 10 o'clock sirens.
Of course.
11 o'clock sirens.
More sirens, yeah, absolutely.
Midnight.
It's like a shit Big Ben over there.
Somebody emptying a bottle bank. 1 o'clock, somebody arguing about whose kebab it was and you spent the taxi money and then
1:30, more sirens.
More sirens,
yeah.
And then another bottle bank, and then you'd get people shuffling on home because all the nightclubs have shut. And I used to sleep through it all. I would only know what was going on because I was awake from getting in from a nightclub myself.
Yeah.
So, but I used to sleep through it all.
Yeah, that was her evening noises, okay?
Yeah.
So we then got married, and at the time I was based in a place called Ipswich in the UK. So Ipswich is on the east coast, I was about to say Middle East then, it's not in the Middle East, but it's on the east coast of the UK in the Midlands. And where my married quarter was, where our house was in a little village, a very, very quiet little village called Hadley. Like, supremely quiet little village. Everybody knew each other. The highest amount of crime in that village was around shotguns because they're all farmers. And it was... I've grown up in a countryside area. Like, I'm on the edge of the New Forest in the UK, so I'm used to wildlife and nature. And like I drive out my house across a cattle grid, and we've got ponies and things that just roam across the road and stuff where we live, not drunk people stabbing each other like where Luce lives. So when we first moved across, to start with, Luce really struggled to sleep, and then one of the reasons why she struggled to sleep was because it was just too quiet. So she's used to noise, and it was just too quiet. It was deathly silence, or you'd hear crickets and stuff like that.
So not only was it deathly quiet, it was literally pitch black.
Yeah.
And
now, we'd been in our new house for probably a week, I reckon. About a week, maybe 2 weeks, about that sort of time, right? Deathly silent at night time, and I am used to it. And I also can sleep anywhere. And she woke me up, and I think it was about 1:30 in the morning, roughly. She woke me up, babe. I'm like, I fucking don't like being woken up, by the way, chat. I'm a man who likes his sleep, right? I do not like being woken up at any point in time. Babe, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. Oh, what the fuck? I was like, what? Now, we got married in April. We moved in the May. We're in the early stages of British summer. All the windows are open. It's quite warm out, okay?
Yeah.
That's why all the windows are open. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? She went, we're on a married quarter. We're on a married patch, so it's like barracks. I say it's not like barracks, but it's all squaddies and all the nearby houses. It's all military people. They all live on the same barracks. They all work on the same barracks, right? I think someone's being raped. We're in Hadley. Everyone knows each other. Like, if there's a rape going on, they're probably the same family. I was like, what are you on about? What do you mean? She's like, I think someone's being. You need to listen. I think someone's being raped. And I mean, of course, if that is something that's going on, it's one of the worst things ever, and we would want to do something about it. We would want to phone the police. I'd want to go and find out what the fuck's going on. But I was like, what do you mean? And I'm just coming round as well now, and I sat there, and we must have sat there for 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm like, I heard a thing, and then there was a scream.
Oh, it's horrible.
And this scream happened in the distance. And Luce looked at me and she went, see? I was like, Luce? That's a fox. But she'd never heard a fox scream before. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube right now and Google fox scream. Honestly, I can understand why she perhaps thought that there was something not very nice going on. It's a horrible sound. It's an awful sound.
But my... least favourite memory of living in Hadley was you were on tour number 3 and I had never heard a bird scarer before, and we lived opposite a rapeseed field, so it was this lovely beaming yellow colour. It was beautiful, but the birds love the rapeseed, and the farmer across the road had set up a bird scarer, and it sounds like a gunshot to me, but it's clearly not a gun going off. But it's timed to go off every few minutes or so, repetitively all day. And this farmer started it off at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So gunshot, I shit myself, jumped out of bed like, what the fuck was that? That was definitely a gunshot. That sounded really close.
To start with, by the way, Luce in the countryside was fucking hilarious. It was. She didn't have the footwear for it. She didn't have the trousers for it. She wasn't used to the noises. It was fucking... We could have made a comedy series about that, honestly.
I did cry when I had to sell all my stilettos because Hadley is not stiletto terrain. Yeah. Very sad.
I see why that would be off-putting to someone who had never heard it before, says Fat Fox. Yeah, 100%, honestly.
It's an awful sound. We hear it out the front now because where we live, they're quite... Foxes are plentiful here, and... Now I know what the sound is. I go, oh, okay, they're out. So Emmy will be grumbling.
Mordy Hammer says, a good one is the chuffing sound of a cougar or puma gets your nerves when going on a hike.
Oh
not really a problem in Totten.
No.
I mean...
I think I'd never want to go hiking again.
Cougars are a problem in Southampton town centre. I don't think we're talking about the same thing, though. Fucking pigeons. Lucy, it's a burning wig with basically shotgun shells on. Yeah, it is, yeah.
But if you've never heard a live shot sound, I was literally shaking. I didn't know who to text first because you weren't there. So who do I text first about? I think this sounds really silly, and I know the armory's just up there, but I think I've just heard a shot.
Duke Spoon, thank you for the 2. Foxes going at it in the middle of the night. Yeah, I know, lucky foxes. Right, Luce.
Oh yeah.
Here's your no-minute warning for loose facts.
Well, I mean.
Are you ready?
No.
Next, I'm watching American Werewolf in London before going to the countryside. Honestly, it was so funny, chat. It was fucking incredible. Plans road trip to Southampton Town Centre, says Seeps.
Have you ever
Come
heard?
down, Seeps. Let's hang out.
Heard a fox chirrup to her cubs? That's a really cute little sound.
I've probably heard most of the noises.
And then our Ring doorbell caught fox cubs playing on your car.
Yes. That's how they get killed.
Very
That is
cute.
how they get killed.
But they were so lovely.
Anyway, Lucy's going to find herself a nice, cheeky, loose fact to round off the evening because you people have been incredible. Thank you so much for all your amazing generosity. Tomorrow night, Brom and I are playing, and it is Thousand Sons versus Adeptus Custodes. The Adeptus Custodes was voted by you people on Tuesday night, so you've only got yourself to blame for that one. Before we roll into Friday and 40k After Dark, we talk for maybe 20 minutes about 40k. But otherwise, what we do at that point is we just get pissed and talk nonsense like we have for the last kind of 10 minutes, okay? That's for most of the stream. We are a 40k channel. We are a hobby channel. I am planning more content in the future for you people. Not exactly sure how that looks right now, but we need to get ourselves in a big professional studio to be able to make that happen. There's things happening in the background to try and help that. Maybe I'm going to ask you all for some funding support in the near future to make that a realistic thing so we can bring you more content. But I want to keep Friday nights as our big social get-together, end of the week, drink fest, have fun and swear at each other thing, okay? That's not going to change. That's not going to change. What I might do, what I'm thinking about doing, is adding an added benefit to Haskell tiers, I think Haskell tiers and above, where they will get to ask questions in Discord on the 40k After Dark chat about anything and everything. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this looks yet, right, chat? So bear with me. I'm trying to offer more benefits to people. I'm trying to get more Haskells in the room. I want more people upgrading to Haskell tier. And if you're going to upgrade to Jarl tier, Gaz, are you still in chat? Is Gaz still there or has he gone to bed? He might have gone to bed. Has he messaged recently? He hasn't. It's just Dave.
So.
Dave, can you remind me tomorrow to ask Gaz to launch the Jarls giveaway on Friday? Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to launch the Jarls giveaway on Friday in the 40k After Dark stream. I'd like to run it for a week, and then next week in the 40k After Dark stream I want it to be drawn. Does that make sense? That's what I would like to happen. Okay, anyway, it's that time that you've all been waiting for.
9 body parts as unique as your fingerprint are your iris, retina, ear shape, lip print, tongue, voice, toe print, teeth, and your walk.
I'm not sold on the walk one or the ear.
I don't know. I think the walk could, because how many of us as little kids noticed little things about our parents? I remember seeing how my dad walked and thinking no one else walked like him. I do think the walk's a true thing. You pick up on things.
I can't wait.
Though.
I can't wait for the day that smartphones are unlocked by your walk.
I bet I bet they're working on that.
Just to prop it up against the door and then walk towards it.
Why hasn't your ear shape? You put your phone to your ear No, you don't anymore. People hold it like this now.
Why do people do
There
that?
you go.
Why do cunts do that? Sorry. right. Sorry, chat. For those of you that hung around.
Bonus content.
Brief tangent here. Why do people do that? Why do
don't
people...
know.
You have a phone. This is a phone, as I'm sure you're all aware, right? This is an iPhone, okay? And Apple and every other phone company out there, Samsung, etc., do a shit ton of work so that when you hold that phone to your ear, it blocks out surrounding noises, it focuses on the voice of the other person on the other side, it picks out your voice specifically. There's tons of work that goes into phones to make it clearer when you can hear it and clearer when you're talking into it once it's pressed against your ear. Why does everyone phone someone and they hold it here? That's the same. Right? It's no closer to your fucking mouth, you moron. And then when the person talks back through their speaker, they go, it's here. What the fuck are you doing, you moron?
Then
You
they-
look like a retard.
They should do the ear print on the phone. Then you have to hold it to your ear.
Why do people... And the worst thing is, because they do it walking down the street as well. So because it's on loudspeaker, the person on the other hand can hear the fucking road digger, the traffic going past, the bus hissing, the child screaming. So they're going, why can I hear all this fucking noise? Because the cunts put you on speaker, that's why. Right? The person walking... then can't hear this person, so turns the volume up on the speaker whilst they've got it held to their ear like an actual fucking lunatic. And then as they walk past us, right, we can hear their conversation too.
Do you know who I love that has private conversations? Is the people that have the private conversations on Bluetooth in their car. That is not a private
No,
conversation
they
anymore.
turn the car speaker up as loud as it goes.
Yeah, everybody waiting at the red
We
light
have someone that
heard
sits
about your
outside our
chlamydia.
house, and okay. In our old house, we had someone who sat outside his house on his car speaker talking to his mistress. And we could hear it inside our fucking living room. Like, you're round the corner from your house. Are you trying to get caught?
Yeah. Do you want us to put you out of this very exhausting cat and mouse game? We'll do it for you. I mean, you look tired.
But why do people...
do it for you.
Like, a phone conversation is a private thing, typically. If my parents are phoning me, maybe they want to talk to the kids. That's a good use of speakerphone.
Yeah.
Okay? And I go into the living room where the kids are, and I put it on speakerphone, and I say, hey, kids, say hello to Grandma. They go, hi, Grandma. That's a good use for speakerphone.
Yeah.
Walking down a busy street... Someone hasn't taught this person how phones work. I don't understand it. So basically, if you see anybody walking down the street with their phone to their ear like this, I need you to, in the loudest possible voice you can, do something like shout rape. I don't know, something. Because they deserve everything they get for walking with their phone to their ear. Shout something. Shout something embarrassing. Tell them to put their cock away. I don't care what it is, but shout something. I don't understand why people do this. Like,
It annoys me because I don't want to hear the other half of the conversation. So why is it on loudspeaker? Does the other person know they're on loudspeaker? Because what if they're confiding in you?
But I mean, the thing is with these things, right? They have a very clear earpiece at the top here. But who hasn't taught them that? Who hasn't taught them this piece? And why do you need to like right, so hit my finger's where the microphone is right now? The finger's where the microphone is. Guess what? It's not closer to my face. It's not clearer. It's the same distance.
Wouldn't you also get that sound? Because when the phone's here,
Carl says, as a species, we are broken. That is one of the truest things I've ever seen.
Martin, you can't masturbate here, sir.
Exactly, Martin. So like that. Mandy says, even if it's a woman, tell them to put their cock away. I mean, nowadays, Mandy, you never know. To be fair, you never know. All right, 100%. Anyway, sir, you need to wear pants here. That's a good one as well. Yeah.
I like that you're all addressing them as sir. Like there's an immediate.
I just don't understand it. I also see people. Here's the other thing I see. Well, I haven't got them with me. People with earpods in.
Yeah.
Right, with their phone there like that, and they're not on video call. Right, at this point, you might as well hold it to your face. Why is your earpods in? The whole point in being wireless is your phone's in your pocket or something. I don't. People are stupid. People annoy me. People like that need to be ridiculed in public. That's the thing we need to do now. We're not only are we saving 40k by focusing on narrative 40k and we're all buying tickets to the Factorum narrative event, we're saving the world one step at a time. We're solving the airport problem. We've done that one already. Now we're solving idiots and phones.
So, interesting you say this. I think it's Japan. They're now condoning people to stare at other people who are smoking. Because apparently a seagull takes 21 seconds longer to attack you for your sausage roll and chips if you're staring at them while you're eating. They're still going to take it, but they'll take longer to do it. So now, I think it's Japan, they're condoning people staring at smokers to make them feel socially awkward about choosing to smoke. So they're now saying we need to create like a social, uncomfortable feeling.
No. You let them smoke. They're stupid enough to smoke in the first place. You let them kill themselves. They're stupid enough to smoke in the first place.
But I think it's more about the passive smoking
I mean, that's
going on.
That's fair. That's a
But
problem.
I just thought, surely that's just going to
and this
start
is
a
also
lot
where-
of fights
but-
because staring at somebody's really
Well,
aggressive.
so here's another thing we need to bring back, chat, right? We're on one now. You're getting extra content here. It's bonus content for people. Here's another one we need to bring up. We need to bring back natural selection, right? I saw a person today on a bicycle, right? On a bicycle, on FaceTime.
Oh, wow.
So if you see a person on a bicycle on FaceTime, I feel like it should be perfectly legal to drive into them in your car.
I saw
head on.
somebody today. I don't know how loud it was, how hot it was today, but I saw somebody biking with a lead and their husky. The only option that dog has is to run
We need to bring that
in the
perception back.
humidity and heat today.
Remember, chat, if you see this, that does in fact deserve public ridicule. Loud public ridicule.
I like the "you can't masturbate here, sir."
Public ridicule.
I might use
Promise
that
me,
one.
chat. Promise me. Promise me public ridicule, okay? Anyway, right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, you beautiful people. I'm sorry we ended on that. I don't know why. I don't know how. Oh, that's how we brought out because Luke said, "Why don't you use your ear as a?" Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because that makes sense for a mobile phone. Your ear shape is unique to you. So
I don't know
you
if that,
could
I think
maybe-
that's true. The walk and the ear shape are the two that I'm not sure on those.
No, I 100%. I would know if I saw maybe 5 men in the distance and one of them was my dad and I saw them walk, I'd be able to point out which one is my
Mandy
dad.
says, was the phone on a mount while they were holding it? No, or was the phone at least on a mount or were they holding it? No, they were holding it. This is my problem. They had their hand up on FaceTime on a video call with the other hand on the handlebar riding as a cyclist. Like that's unbelievable amounts of irresponsibility. And the best part about it was they were on the road. They weren't on the pavement. They were going on the road doing that. Nutter, honestly. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Like I said, another game tomorrow night, a 40k After Dark on Friday, and then we'll go into the weekend and we'll celebrate that on Friday. Anything else you want to add, Luce, before we say goodbye?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Nope. By the way, chat, just to let you all down, Joe says he can't come to the narrative event. He has
Do you want me to do
parent.
a hotel then?
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
You won't buy a fancy enough room.
It's the Premier Inn.
You'll skimp on me.
It's the Premier Inn.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.